Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my top 10 favorite shows of all time. This is the second time I've made this list on this channel. I made this list back in April of 2019 as well. So it's been almost 2 years since last time I did this list. And my overall feelings on the shows that were on that one have not changed necessarily, at least not to any major degree. It's just the new shows have come in and like little things here and there have like maybe switched around the order a little bit. Um, that's all that's really changed in terms of what was on the list before. But for those who may not have seen that list, so yeah, this is my top 10 favorite shows of all time, not just cartoons, not just anime, shows, period. As long as it is a televised show, doesn't matter what kind of network it's on, doesn't matter if it's on streaming service or actual broadcast television, does not matter. As long as it is a series format, that's all that really matters. Now, with this list, there are a few notes. One, I will be counting the show as a whole. I will not be counting separate seasons. Um, so, for example, I'll use an example of something that's not on the list, but just as an example, One Punch Man Season 2 is so much drastically better than Season 1, but I would consider it as a whole as just One Punch Man, which means it would probably even out towards somewhere in the middle in the end. But yeah, it's just for the sake of the list, I would have to even it out instead of like separating them by season. It's done this way just so like the list isn't like entirely like filled with just the same show, just different seasons of it and everything. Um, Not that that would necessarily be a big issue going into here, but it could. So it's just I just like kind of even it out. um, Also to note, this is just my thoughts on these shows as of current. My thoughts on a lot of different shows tend to like kind of waver, switch in and out here and there. Just because my interests will change or my thoughts on certain parts of the shows will change or yada yada yada. Simply put, just they can change a bit as time goes on. Most of the time, if they're really high, though, really high on the list, then they'll keep about the same spot no matter what. um, but just as a note, that can happen. Another note, these are my choices, my personal favorites. So if there's something you really love that isn't on this list, I apologize, but that just means I personally might not love it as much as you do. Or if you disagree with the order on this, if you disagree with my choices being on the list in the first place, keep in mind, it is my list. It is my preferences, my interests, the shows I love for whatever reason I love them for. Um, so yeah, there is that. um, Now, one kind of like addendum to the one rule I said before. If a show is multiple seasons long, but each like season is like a completely separate story, basically like how JoJo's Bizarre Adventure does it with each of its parts, then it counts basically as a separate entry because it's a, again, completely separate story, mostly different characters, um, new setting even and everything. It's like, yeah, it's basically counts as a different series. So there is that as well. But otherwise, there's no real rules or restrictions to what's on this list. Again, as long as it's in a series format, doesn't matter where it aired or whatnot. Um, as long as it's there's no like repeat. There's no seasons from the same series unless they're completely separate in terms of their plot, characters, all of that jazz, and so on and so forth. You get the drill. Um, Now, I will be redirecting this, the link will be down in the description below, which will lead to both BitChute and Google Photos. You can check out the actual list there. The reason I'm redirecting it is because I wish to use like clips to show it, like either trailers or a specific scene from the series, and that will showcase overall like the series. Yeah. um, but if you want to know like my specific thoughts on any specific entry on here, feel free to ask. I am more than willing to elaborate on anything if you desire me to. But most of the time, like the reason why I'm choosing to do like the clips instead of like giving full on discussion and everything is mostly because it's probably just going to mostly be the same kind of stuff. It's like, oh, I like the characters, I like the story, I like the art and animation or voice acting or whatever. It's going to mostly come down to the same kind of stuff. And I'm not the best at explaining in any more like detail or specifics like a lot of other reviewers or whatnot are. So this is mostly just coming down to I'm just going to show you clips in order from 10 to 1. So either way, I hope you enjoy the list, and I would love to hear what some of your favorite shows are. So tell me in the comments as well, what are your favorite shows? Again, can be from any kind of service, whether streaming service, whether broadcast TV, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where they're from in the world. They can be anime, they can be cartoons, they can be live action, they can be reality shows, does not matter. Just tell me your thoughts, your choices, some of your favorite shows down in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.